Yes, Your Excellency, because the right of a state to give its rights of life and liberty to aliens and migrants comes under its sovereign power, and it is completely their discretion whether they should consider them as immigrants or aliens or refugees and grant them their rights.
Do you support any clause in the Paris Declaration? What you are saying?
Your Excellency, pardon the agent.
Do you see any supporting point in the recent international instrument, that is the Paris Declaration,
Your Excellency,
on climate victims?
Your Excellency, the Paris Convention on Climate Victims cannot be considered. The only way we can consider Paris Convention on Climate Victims is if Hindustan considers them as climate victims. If Hindustan is ready to accept them as climate victims.
What is the discrimination issue? How you deal it?
Your Excellency, the Council would like to deal that by two force of arguments. That is, Republic of Hindustan is not bound to consider them as climate refugees as under the Convention Protocol relating to the status of refugees. And second, Your Excellency, Republic of KHS has not followed the precautionary principle. If the agent is
determining the status of the refugees, is it in the hand of one single national state or it is an international issue?
Your Excellency, determining the status of climate change refugees is an international issue.
Can Hindustan alone decide it?
Your Excellency, determining the status and determining who are climate refugees is an Hindustan issue. However, determining whether a state should accept them as climate refugees, they should give their state and
yes, continue. I also have a question on this.
Depending on whether a state should accept them and bring forth them as climate refugees is completely a state's discretion. Especially since, Your Excellency, in this case, Hindustan has, even though Hindustan has signed various conventions relating to climate change, they have not signed any convention relating to refugee status. They have not signed any UN conventions relating to refugees.
Okay, but they have accepted the refugees voluntarily.
Indeed not, Your Excellency. Throughout this whole case, we can find that the agents for the applicants are blaming Hindustan, telling that we have not followed any international duty. The agent would like to point out that out of a voluntary policy, Hindustan has already followed a principle between Vindhya and Nagaland, and they have voluntarily decided to adopt children from KHS because they owe a duty to the international community. Your Excellency, however, this was not a written down policy, this was simply a voluntary policy. And the fact to be noted is that, Your Excellency, on top of this, from the beginning itself, Republic of KHS was an independent state on Republic of Hindustan. It has always been dependent on Republic of Hindustan. And the fact to be noted here is that Republic of Hindustan is not the developed economy. They are not developed. Their economy.
No, that's a different issue, Council. Yes, I believe the Madam is asking her direct answer.
As to whether Hindustan
accepted voluntarily the refugees.
The current refugees from Republic of KHS, Your Excellency?
Yes, whether they were accepted by the Republic of Hindustan.
Indeed not. Indeed not. The case is clear as to the fact that the current case is clear to the fact that Republic of Hindustan has not accepted the current victims of the earthquake from Republic of KHS as a refugee. They have not accepted them as refugees.
Indeed, the fact says accepted, but at a different degree, not giving the equal rights and status to their own citizens.
Yes, exactly. They have accepted.
They signed that,
yes.
but they signed a memo to the guest government, that is Himalayan state, that say, we accept them, but
we will not give them the
don't expect the same level,
status.
same degree of status like our own citizen because blah, blah.
Yes, but they did accept.
Your Excellency, the council, the agent for the respondents would like to point the fact that Mr. President and Your Excellency seem to be confused between the victims. There were two. We have been given about two refugee statuses here. The first one is Hindustan accepting a voluntary policy and accepting refugees, that is children from KHS. Children from KHS, which was followed from the Vindhya and Nagaland principle.
One of the victims age 17.
Yes, indeed, Your Excellency. That the whole concept, the whole voluntary policy had taken place before the earthquake hit Republic of KHS. The child adoption policy had taken place before the earthquake hit KHS. And as soon as the earthquake
Then it applies. It's not retrospective application, it applies.
Also the Convention on Child Rights.
Indeed, yes, Your Excellency. Indeed, yes, Your Excellency. The agent would like to point out that As soon as the, firstly that as soon as the earthquake hit Republic of KHS had actually asked Republic of Hindustan whether they would consider them as climate refugees, and Hindustan had said an outright no, one. And second one, the voluntary adoption policy relating to children refers to children below 16 years of age. Here the child is 17 years of age, and to say that while being raped they might have been 16 years of age is completely derogatory. They did not have been...
Also, there is international provision and treaties there. The victims cannot be discriminated based on their age, 16 or 17.
Indeed, yes, Your Excellency. Indeed, yes, Your Excellency. The agent for the respondents would like to point out the fact that even though here, Your Excellency, the agents for the applicants are claiming that Hindustan has not followed its international duty. But Your Excellency, the point to be noted is that Hindustan has followed its international duty. It is to be noted from the very case fact that it is Hindustan's police agency and NGO that secured these people. They saved these people from the diplomat officer. Your Excellency, further to be noted is that if Republic of Hindustan had taken the appropriate measures to withdraw the 1,000 or so women and children who were trafficked into Republic of Hindustan, as soon as Republic of Hindustan had said no, this would have never happened. This happened because even though Republic of Hindustan completely said that they cannot accept them as refugee status, climate refugees, Republic of KHS did not do anything about it, and these 1,000 or so people went unrecognized in the country. Republic of KHS did not do anything for its citizens. They did not take back their citizens. If they had taken the appropriate measures, Hindustan, such a heinous crime would not have happened in Hindustan. It is not Hindustan's fault because they did not recognize them. They had said outright.
They are accepted. They are accepted voluntarily. Okay?
Indeed.
Yes. So what I want to say is that when you accept any person into your country, the country has a duty to protect the dignity of that person, to protect the life
Indeed, yes.
of that person. So where was the dignity of the child and the woman? Both were violated in this case.
Mr. President, Your Excellencies, the agent can understand the confusion as related to this aspect. The agent for the respondents would please pray that Mr. President, Your Excellencies, turn to paragraph 39 of the current facts of case. Your Excellency, the current victims, that is 35-year-old women and the 17-year-old child, are victims that came from Republic of KHS to Republic of Hindustan only after the... Paragraph 41. Yes, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, they came to these people came to Republic of Hindustan only after the earthquake. The voluntary policy, the voluntarily accepting of the victims from the KHS did not take place after the earthquake of KHS. It had taken place way before, and that can be seen from paragraph.
No, the question is, because of the fact that they were accepted on a voluntary basis, does it have anything to do with the safety and security of those people?
Your Excellency, the agent for the respondents is trying to say that the current victims were not accepted on a voluntary basis. The current victims is not accepted on a voluntary basis. The people who were accepted on a voluntary
Counsel,
basis.
is it necessary?
No.
Is it necessary to acquire a particular status to seek remedy against rape, torture?
Indeed not. Indeed not, Your Excellency.
As per the covenant and protocols?
Indeed not, Your Excellency. Here in this current case, the agent for the respondents would like to say that even though they are not given the status of refugees, Hindustan has clearly taken the measures to help them and save them against rape, to get the charge the diplomat officer. Hindustan has taken its measures, but what is not fair, what is unjust here is that KHS does not just want us to give them their rights, they actually want us to treat them as refugees. It is completely our discretion. Hindustan has not even once failed on their international duty to provide them their rights. As it is very clear, as Your Excellency had earlier pointed out, as it is very clear from paragraph 41, it is Hindustan's police agency and it is an NGO from Hindustan that saved these two victims, and it is Hindustan that later arrested the diplomat officer. Your Excellency, with your Mr. President, Excellency's kind permission, may the Council move on? Much obliged. Your Excellencies, further, even if assuming but not accepting that they should be considered as refugees, It should be noted that they did not sign the Refugee Convention, but assuming and accepting that they should be concerned as refugees, it is to be noted that the Convention and Protocol relating to the status of refugees definition goes on like this. May the agent quote, much obliged, Your Excellencies, the agent quotes, owing to well-founded fear of being persecuted for reasons of race, religion, nationality, membership of a particular social group or political opinion, is outside the country of his nationality and is unable, or owing to such fear, is unwilling to avail himself to the protection of that country, or who, not having a nationality and being outside the country of his former habitual residence, as a result of such events, is unable or owing to such fear, is unwilling to return to it. This is the definition of refugees as given under the Refugee Protocol, that is 1951. Yes, it is a fact that initially Hindustan had not signed any refugee convention, but assuming but not accepting, I repeat, assuming but not accepting that we should consider them as climate refugees, they do not come under the 1951
Council, did you receive any assurance from diplomats, home country, that indeed upon return they would try him in their own court? Did you receive any assurance?
Your Excellency, the issue dealing with diplomatic immunity shall be dealt by my co-agent.
Okay, thank you.
With your Excellency's
We'll hear from her.
Yeah.
With Your Excellency's kind permission, may the Council submit the authority for the definition of refugees? Much obliged, Your Excellency.
According to paragraph 42 of the compromise, it is actually it is that these two should be considered as climate refugees.
Indeed, Your Excellency. That is the problem here. KHS keeps on demanding that they should be considered as climate refugees, even when in paragraph 39 in this set, even before they asked us to consider them as climate refugees, in paragraph 39 we had said outright that we would not be able to consider them as climate refugees. We already have a porous border, Your Excellency. Republic of Hindustan already has a porous border. On top of it, Republic of KHS was already dependent on Republic of Hindustan from the beginning. And on top of that, Republic of Hindustan had already accepted a war.
But it's a tourism dependency, not migrant dependence.
Indeed not, Your Excellency. What the agent would like to point out is that on top of all this, Republic of Hindustan is a developing country. Your Excellency, a developing country cannot always take care of other migrants. They have their problems as such. Your Excellency,
Another point is, although Hindustan is not a party to the Refugee Convention,
yes, Your Excellency.
what is the Council's view about the issue of climate change? We are actually triggered of the refugees.
The agent begs the court's pardon. Could the Excellency please repeat the question?
Although Hindustan is not a party to the Refugee Convention, when it comes to the climate refugees, the Council wishes to maintain the same position.
We want to know your view.
Bound by it should be dealt with only according to the Refugee Convention.
Your Excellency, this issue cannot be just dealt with by Refugee Convention. There are various other factors here. For example, it is very clear from the statement of facts that the people from Republic of KHS who came to Republic of Hindustan did not just migrate. Many of them or most of them were trafficked and brought to Republic of Hindustan. And if Republic of KHS had accepted the Republic of Hindustan and said that they did not consider them as refugees, Republic of Hindustan could have considered the trafficked people. Only some of them were trafficked, Your Excellency. Only some of them were trafficked to the Republic of Hindustan. And if KHS had considered earlier, these trafficked people could have been recognized and this heinous crime could have been stopped. And it is to be further noted that whether the victims, the 35-year-old woman and the 17-year-old
So
child.
it is whose responsibility when you open the border for the tourism purposes and there would be consequential acts as well, then the Council is of the view that should be blamed only on one party or both parties?
Yeah.
Your Excellency, the porous border was not just a result of Republic of Hindustan's conceding. It was a result of both of the republics conceded because of their tourism facilities. And Your Excellency, Republic of Hindustan did not just outright send the refugees or send the victims who had come from Republic of KHS to their land. They did not just send them back. They plainly asked Republic of KHS, they plainly told Republic of KHS that we cannot consider them as refugees. We cannot do this. And then after that, it was completely Republic of KHS's it was their decision, it was their responsibility to take care of their citizens on another alien land, where that alien land could never give them a status of refugees. Furthermore, Your Excellencies and Mr. President, the fact that Hindustan is a developing economy poses way many problems, because experiences are often that areas where refugee camps are established become subject to national migrations due to opportunities accompanied by the camp presence, and competition for resources and these new job opportunities may then become more competitive for the host community and even more challenging for the most vulnerable and poor. Your Excellencies, as to the problems faced by host communities, especially developing economies when it comes to refugees coming to their land, may the Council submit to authority. May the agent continue? Much obliged, Your Excellencies. Mr. President and Your Excellencies, another important factor to be noted here is given in the current case facts, paragraph 36, very clearly. Your Excellencies, geophysics, it has been given in the case fact that geophysics and other experts had warned for decades that KHS was vulnerable to a deadly earthquake, particularly because of its fragile geology exposed to unplanned rapid urbanization, conversion of its topography, etc. to cater to international tourism and development. Your Excellency, they had known from earlier, they had been warned way earlier that such an earthquake would take place. However, they did not do anything to prevent this. Your Excellency, this is where the precautionary principle comes.
Was it preventable, Council?
Your Excellency,
In the scale of 7?
Your Excellency, if it could not have been prevented, at least the effect could have been diminished if they had stopped changing their topography as soon as the scientists claimed that an earthquake would take place. Your Excellency, the agent concedes that once the scientists or geologists claim that an earthquake can take place, it may be too late to prevent an earthquake. But instead of building upon its effect, they could have stopped it right then and there. Instead, what they did was they continued doing that. They continued changing their topography. They continued changing their ecology. And another factor to be noted is that since Hindustan also shares border with the Himalayan region, if an earthquake had taken place in the Himalayan region, it could have also affected Republic of Hindustan. And thus, it can be said that they have not followed precautionary principle, for the precautionary principle, the agent would like to submit her authority further.
But is council going against one argument that these two are nothing to do with that
Victims of
climate change?
They didn't contribute in any way.
Anything, then what is the relevance of this precautionary thing?
Your Excellency, the agent wanted to further enumerate her point to support Republic of Hindustan, to show that Republic of Hindustan need not consider them as refugee status. This is merely to support and enumerate that Republic of Hindustan need not give them refugee status, because if Republic of KHS had taken the precautionary principles necessary, maybe, but then maybe is a very strong word, the number of victims could have lessened. The number of people could have lessened, and if the number of people could have lessened, Republic of KHS could have been...
Council, what is your prayer to this court? Why you have been in this court?
Your Excellency, the prayer that the agent would like to put forth before this honorable court is that Republic of Hindustan has given the basic human rights of life and liberty to the two victims that were from...
No, what is your prayer to the court? Why you have been in this court?
Your Excellency, the agent would like to pray
What
that...
is your prayer?
Your Excellency, the agent would like to pray before this honorable court that the court agree that Republic of Hindustan has given the basic rights of life and liberty to the victims from Republic of KHS, the victims of earthquake.
It has a duty to protect that life and liberty.
Indeed, yes, Your Excellency. The agent would like to point out that it has protected the victims even though they were never considered as refugee status. It was Hindustan who saved them. Your Excellency, the agent for the respondents is not here to prove that the refugee status cannot be given or the refugee status is completely sovereign. Those are underlying factors. Those are underlying factors.
We are not asking, we are not questioning these.
Indeed, yes, Your Excellency. The underlying factors are them. The main factor is that the victims, the 35-year-old women and the 17-year-old girl child, who came from Republic of KHS to Republic of Hindustan, even though Republic of Hindustan had said that they cannot be considered as refugee status, and hence Republic of Hindustan need not recognize them, and Republic of KHS could have taken them back, could have done the appropriate measures so that they were recognized. These people were recognized even when Republic of KHS failed in its duty towards its citizens. Republic of Hindustan
Comes from competence
No, no,
perspectives. From competence perspectives that you had created in the very minute of your summation. So what you want from this court?
Your Excellency, the agent for the respondents pray before this honorable court that the Republic of Hindustan has not failed to uphold its state responsibility when it comes to international duty and international community, because they have given the absolute rights of life and liberty. They have given the human rights of life and liberty to the victims from KHS.
How we could say that? You told we don't have any competence to take these competence.
Your Excellency, even though
Show us any avenue whether we can exercise what you are asking from us.
Your Excellency, may the agent plead that Your Excellency repeat the question?
Yeah, show us this code, an avenue which we can rely to
That
deliver
we give
what
you
you
the
are
relief
asking.
that you want.
If we don't
Give
have
us
competence,
Yes.
even if we are convinced,
Yes.
we can't deliver what you are asking. Show us
How we
any
can do it.
legal avenue
Legal basis on which we can do
we
it.
rely upon
Your Excellency.
to deliver.
Your Excellency, legal cases, as in the case of Africa, there was a similar change, that is climate problems in Africa, and what happened there was, here the entire responsibility is coming on Republic of Hindustan, because they are claiming that as under UNHCR and as under United Nations human rights, Republic of Hindustan does have a right towards these migrants. We can call them migrants because they cannot be considered as refugees by Republic of Hindustan. However, in the case of Africa, what was done is that these particular responsibilities were given to the World Bank and World Bank, Your Excellencies. For that, the Council would like to submit her authority.
Thank you. Carry on.
If Your Excellencies are well satisfied with the contentions that the agent has submitted before this honorable court, may the agent pave way for her co-agent to submit her arguments. Much obliged, Your Excellencies.
Respondent to hereby express my due respect. As my co-agent has already dealt with the last contention, may the agent move on with the first two contentions. Deeply obliged, Your Excellencies. The second contention that the agent submits before this honorable court is that this court does not have the jurisdiction to render advisory opinion as requested by the United Nations Security Council, and also lacks the jurisdiction to club the cases. Your Excellencies, the Republic of Hindustan has challenged the jurisdiction of this honorable court to render the advisory opinion and to club the cases. The agent would like to substantiate this particular point of argument by splitting the contention into two. First, that the Security Council does not have proper jurisdiction to request for an advisory opinion before this honorable bench, and second, that this court lacks jurisdiction in order to order for a joinder in the instant case. Your Excellencies, moving with this first leg of argument, that the Security Council lacks the power to render advisory opinion as requested by the UN Security Council. Your Excellencies and Mr. President, when seized for a request for an advisory opinion, the court must first consider whether it has jurisdiction to give the opinion requested and whether the answer should be in affirmative, that there is any reason why the court in its discretion should decline to exercise the advisory opinion as requested by the United Nations Security Council. Mr. President and Your Excellencies, this court itself has recalled many times in the past that Article 65, paragraph 1 of the Statute of International Court of Justice, which provides that the court may give an advisory opinion, should be interpreted to mean that this court has the discretionary power to decline to give advisory opinion even if the conditions of jurisdictions are met. The agent would like to submit the authority.
Okay, I have a question over here. When the word may is over there, and it's a question of violation of human rights of people, then the word may should be interpreted as mandatory.
Your Excellencies, this is regarding the advisory opinion as requested by the United Nations Security Council on the issue of climate change and rising sea level. If I may continue with the arguments. Moreover, Your Excellencies and Mr. President, Article 96, Paragraph 1 of the United Nations Charter 1945 should be read in the context of Paragraph 2 of Article 96, which allows other organs to request advisory opinions on legal questions within the ambit of their activities. Your Excellencies, the agent repeats and reiterates the point that Article 96, Paragraph 1 of the United Nations Charter 1945 should be read in accordance with Article 96, Paragraph 2, which allows other principal organs, other organs of the United Nations to request advisory opinion which is regarding their activities. Your Excellencies, in the instant case, the issue of climate change does not come within the ambit of Security Council. There are more suited bodies like General Assembly and the General Assembly, UNC and the UNICEF are the more suited, well-suited bodies than Security Council to approach this honorable bench for seeking an advisory opinion on the current issue. The agent may...
But this council is of the view that Security Council is prevented from deciding anything which poses, which it considers as a serious threat to peace and security.
Your Excellencies, here the Security Council has to prove that the issue of climate change will pose a threat for global security. Your Excellencies.
It should be proved to whom?
Your Excellencies.
Security Council should prove that the fact to whom?
In front of ICJ, Your Excellencies. Your Excellencies, the climate change is not an issue concerned with the Security Council. First, the use of the word climate change and its categorization as a security threat is unacceptable. Your Excellencies, by virtue of Article 2, Paragraph 7 of the United Nations Charter 1945, the Security Council may not intervene in the purely domestic affairs of the state. Therefore, Your Excellencies and Mr. President, the Security Council...
Article 2.7 refers to Security Council or refers to UN, United Nations?
Your Excellencies, Article 2, Para 7 of the United Nations Charter refer to Security Council. It refers to Security Council not to interfere into the domestic affairs of the states. Your Excellencies, therefore, the Security Council...
Can you cite the authority? It refers to only the Security Council.
Indeed, Your Excellencies. Your Excellencies, all the organs of the United Nations, all the principal organs of the United Nations shall not interfere in the domestic affairs of the states, Your Excellencies.
So does it mean only
That
Security
means-
Council?
That means also the Security Council, as Security Council is a principal organ of the United Nations, Security Council also... Your Excellencies, agent may ask... Yeah, as Security Council is also one of the principal organ of United Nations, it does come under the purview of Article 2, Paragraph 7 of United Nations Charter, and thus it is not empowered to interfere within the domestic affairs of state, Your Excellencies. And thus, therefore, the Security Council must first determine that the climate change represents a global threat in order to take any action and in order to request for an advisory opinion before this Honorable Court. Your Excellencies, moreover, this Honorable Court itself has divided the question whether it has jurisdiction into three components. First, whether the body is authorized to seek advisory opinion. Second, whether the body is a competent body to seek advisory opinion. And finally, whether the question is a legal question. All these components have to be proved in order to prove that the court has jurisdiction to entertain the advisory opinion. Considering the first prerequisite, that is whether the body is authorized to seek advisory opinion before this Honorable Court, the agent would like to point out that Article 96, Paragraph 2 says that other organs of United Nations are also empowered to seek advisory opinion before this Honorable Court on the issues which are within the ambit of their activities. Here, the Security Council is clearly invading into the activities of other organs of United Nations. Moreover, considering the second prerequisite, that is Mr. President and Your Excellencies, that is whether the Security Council has competence to...
30 seconds past. Thank you.
Your Excellencies, the agent have one more issue to deal with, the issue of diplomatic immunity.
Is there any?
5 minutes? No.
No, time is over.
Your
Or maybe
Excellencies,
we give a few
agent
minutes
will-
because we've been asking questions also.
Oh, you can
2
decide.
minutes? Huh? 1 minute, 1 minute. Can you just, yeah.
Indeed, Your Excellencies, considering the first issue, that is the court does not have the jurisdiction to render advisory opinion, the agent most humbly submit that as all the three components are not satisfied, the court does not have the power to render advisory opinion as asked by the UN Security Council, and secondly, the court does not have the power to club the cases as there is a huge dissimilarity in the facts of the case. Now, moving on to my second issue, that the arrest and detention of the diplomat is in accordance with international law. The agent would like to say that diplomatic immunity is not absolute and it has exceptions. And secondly, peremptory norm of international law prevails over treaty law, and the agent would like to point out the authority.
Tell us the relief that you're seeking, quickly.
Indeed, Your Excellency, that firstly, that the court should not entertain the advisory opinion as requested by the United Nations Security Council, and secondly, that regarding the second issue, that the court have to pronounce that the agent for the applicant most humbly praised this court to pronounce that the arrest and detention of the diplomat is in accordance with international law, as the diplomatic immunity is not absolute and as it has exceptions according to the principle of just cautions, and as the diplomat has inflicted serious crimes upon the victims from Republic of KHS. Therefore, the agent for the applicant responded most humbly praised.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Could you confirm us? How much time?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Indeed, not 15 minutes and 17 minutes. 15 minutes for the first speaker and 17 minutes for the second speaker.
Actually, it was exceeded in the first.
And how much for the
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Your Excellencies, in regards to rebuttal from the applicant state, the Council would like to present 4 major points that the Council has noted during the course of presentation of the respondent state. The first one is in regards to the issues that needs to be discussed in this court today. If you refer to paragraph number 55 of the compromise, it has been explicitly mentioned that the issue of jurisdiction is of prime importance, and then the next issue to be discussed is on the claim of extent of diplomatic immunity. So the applicant state has focused its argument regarding the jurisdiction issue in rendering advisory opinion, and my co-counsel did explicitly mention about the extent of diplomatic immunity. However, in regards to the question of KHS versus Republic of Hindustan, it is the contention of the applicant state that KHS has not ratified 1951 convention. Even though it has not ratified that convention, it has ratified other human rights convention, and if a particular person is within the territory of that, within the territory of Republic of Hindustan, it does have mandate to protect basic human rights of those persons. And my third point is, as rightly pointed out by Your Excellencies, when the court has discretion, as it has been mentioned in ICJ statute, that the court may give advisory opinion, as rightly interpreted by Your Excellencies, the term maybe should be interpreted in favor of human rights, meaning it should be given a positive response by the International Court of Justice. And in regards to the contention made by the respondent state that the issue of climate change and the issue of rendering advisory opinion is a domestic issue, it has to be noted that the impact and the issues of climate change are transboundary in nature. They cross the political boundaries of all the states, and it is not, while giving advisory opinion, the court will not be hampering the sovereignty of a particular state, but furthering the objectives of United Nations and the achievement that it has done in regards to the climate change negotiation. Thank you.
With the permission of this Honourable Court, the agent for the respondents would like to proceed with the third rebuttals. Much obliged, Your Excellencies. The first third rebuttal is that the agent for the applicant had mentioned and considered earlier in their argument that the facts of the club references are not similar, and hence it is contended by the agent for the respondents that they cannot be brought. Further, Your Excellencies, in paragraph 55, 55, yes, it has been said that the specific issues being dealt with are that of advisory opinion and that of the claim of extent of diplomatic immunity. However, the agent for the respondents would like to contend that specific issue need not mean the only issues. It has been given in paragraph 49 that KHS has contended the issue of giving human rights to the victims that had migrated to Republic of Hindustan. Moreover, Your Excellencies, the agents for the applicants had contended that Republic of Hindustan had not given the basic human rights to the victims. However, the agents for the respondent would like to contend and argue with them, saying that yes, we have given the basic right by rescuing them from the diplomat officer and further arresting the diplomat officer. The only thing that the Republic of Hindustan has not done is given refugee status, which is completely in its discretion. Moreover, maybe is the discretion of this honorable court. Maybe in that sentence is the discretion of this honorable court. It can be that this court can and cannot give, and it is completely your discretion, and the agents for the applicants cannot say for sure that this court should take up this case. Your Excellency, furthermore, the fact that state responsibility and refugee status, the issue dealing with state responsibility and refugee status is important in this because the clubbing is based on similar facts. And yes, clubbing is based on state responsibility. In advisory opinion, yes, we concede that state responsibility is related to climate change. However, by proving that Hindustan need not give refugee status to climate change victims, we have proved that in this case, state responsibility belongs to the trafficked people who came here and who were raped. With Your Excellency, with Mr. President's permission, the Council would like to concede. Thank you. 014, Your Excellency.
014. Team code.
Team code, yes.
1-4.
Indeed, yes, Your Excellency.
And team, this is 02. Yeah.
Yeah, we can just double check to avoid any further confusions. Do you want to collect?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Second.
You will total it, no?
We'll
We do it.